I don't know if this is a thing in the area that you live, but sometimes on the interstate around here, when an accident happens that takes a life, the family and or friends of that person will deposit different mementos at that location to serve as a reminder that that's where it happened. A lot of times this is something really simple, like they'll tie a wreath, TH, to the fence along the side of the road, or they'll put a stake in the ground with a heart on it or something like that. There's been one in the area for quite some time. It's about, I don't know, about half a mile out of town. And it's a light up heart wreath on a small cross. And it's solar powered lights, so just it lights up when it's dark and it stays off when it's light. But it's been there for a couple of years. But in the last few months, there has been a new installation. And as I was saying, most of these are off to the right side of the interstate as you're driving. Okay, so if you look to your right, they're in the ditch or the shoulder area off to the right, way over. Well, recently, in the last few months, there was another one the other direction from our town, quite a few miles. And these people have been updating the gifts, the trinkets, as it were, pretty regularly, like at least twice a month since the accident happened. And I know it was fairly recent. So, there's still the grieving process to handle and take care of, and I'm not trying to be insensitive, but there are a couple things wrong with this. One, it's in the median between the two directions of traffic on the interstate. It's not off to the side, it's in the middle, attached to the guardrail. And we have those silly, the small I-beam style posts with the cable wire running between them. And so yesterday, I bring all this up because yesterday I was driving home and I passed this site, and there were two large stuffed Valentine's bears lashed to the median. And to me, this is a problem. I can respect the family's wish to remember their loved one, the person that they lost in this accident, yada yada. And I can respect that it was still not very long ago. But when you're stopping to spruce up this area regularly, you're impeding the flow of traffic, which is dangerous. By adding large, distracting items, you are then calling people's attention away from their driving and potentially creating a new hazard should one of those come undone and interfere with the road. Additionally, it's very likely that the person that you're mourning and grieving has a designated grave site or memorial area that you can visit and deposit these things. And I get that the site is where it actually happened, and maybe they have some sort of religious or personal belief that draws them to the actual location rather than a burial site or an urn or some kind. So fine, that's fine, but I do take issue with it from a commuter standpoint, and I'm not going to personally take any legal action because it hasn't impeded my driving yet. But I do think it's a serious lapse in judgment to put large, distracting items in the middle of the road between the two lanes of traffic. Not the two lanes, but the grassy ditch area between the eastbound and westbound lanes is what I'm talking about. Lashed to the guardrail that, should there be another accident, may or may not cause more problems or be the cause of the accident. And there's, like I said, there's many variety of reasons that this could happen. The other one that crossed my mind was perhaps the person that caused the accident still drives through that route, and they're trying to create a kind of set a point in place, like, hey, look, remember what you did that day. I don't know. I don't know what the intentions are. Maybe it's simply to remember the person, but I think there's a better way to go about that than being extravagant, because the two bears that I mentioned are just some of the items there. I don't think they've gone so far as to put balloons, but there are definitely small little trinkets, toys, gifts, signs. I mean, it's quite the pile of things. Maybe even some flowers. And so, I don't know. It's not something that I support, just because it seems, one, like overkill, and two, dangerous. If you want to stick something off to the side of the road, way over by the fence, so be it. But not between the two directional lanes, and not lashed to the safety feature that's put in place. Safety loosely, because I think these cause more problems than they solve. But that's how I feel about that. If you have an opinion, I'd love to hear it. So, yeah, I'll see you this afternoon.